Welcome to Real Life with Jenny. My name's Jenny Senaparatna. Grab your favorite drink, get yourself a snack, and we will get started. Today I have Lady Grey Decaf. This has been a game changer for me because I love a good tea in the evening and I don't like herbal. So this has been super fun to have. And I have a chocolate chip cookie granola made with real butter. Like, is this real? I don't know. We're about to find out. I cannot wait to dig into these because it's some like big chunks. Yay! So let's get real. The other day, my husband did a send a sample. So if you haven't seen our TikTok, YouTube channel, it's under my husband, Kevin Senaparatna, and we try foods. And so he went into this gas station and thought, I'm going to try a food. Filmed, I was not part of the thing. And he tried a blackberry Dr. Pepper. And you know how things just unlock, different foods unlock memories that just kind of whoosh over you. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that happens to. I'm a food memory girl. Like, if we've gone out, I may not remember what we've talked about. I may not remember your name, but I can tell you what we ate. It's just the complete truth. I feel really bad about saying that, but it is the truth. So he tried this blackberry Dr. Pepper, and afterwards I took a swig, and I was like, this tastes just like cherry cola Shasta. Now, I don't know if you've ever had this, and maybe I'm making it up in my mind because I couldn't find it. Like, it's not in the stores. So my great aunt, we called her Auntie, which is super funny because I just never knew her name. She was Auntie. That's who she was. She was my mom's aunt, great aunt. She had no children. She was divorced. I didn't know that till I was older. I just thought she was a single lady, although she was technically a single lady. She had been married for 20 years and then she wasn't. She lived by my grandparents in my great-grandmother's old home. So she came back and took care of my great-grandmother, Osland, and then ended up living there. And now I have a different side of the family that actually lives in that house. That house has so many fantastic memories. Anyway, back to the Dr. Pepper. So I tried this and it just brought me right back to childhood in such a great way. So Auntie was one of those people in my life that made life fun. Like, she was just a hoot. I love spending time with her. I cannot even imagine that she had the energy that she did because she had to be a little bit older, probably close to my age. And every time I went up to my grandparents' house, I was like, am I going to Auntie's house? Am I going to Auntie's house? Am I doing something with Auntie? Like, I loved my grandparents, and my grandmother was amazing, and so was my grandfather, but Auntie was the bee's knees. Like, she was so incredible. So we would go and she'd pick us up in or I think we went to her house. My parents always dropped me off at her house, and we'd go, and I remember she took us horseback riding. She found a neighbor who put us on horses and no saddles, no like reins, just put us on a horse and let us go. I think she rode with us. I'm not 100% sure. But I just remember there was no fear. Like, she just never was like, okay, be careful, like horses are big, or, nothing. It was just like, this is what we're doing, everybody on a horse. And we'd all pile on horses and walk through walk through the dirt roads. And so I have never had the fear of a horse or horse riding. I didn't know what a saddle or a rein were. Like, that was not something you got on the back of a horse and you went. She just came up with these crazy adventures, but one thing she did all the time, and it was so incredibly fun. She had some girls that would come and live with her for a couple summers here and there. And so not only did I get to go see Auntie, but I got to go see friends too. And what she would do is she'd pile us in her car. And this is in northern Minnesota. And she had no air conditioning. I remember that. Like, no air conditioning in the house and no air conditioning in her car. Like, that was not something she needed. That seemed frivolous. And she would drive us down these dirt roads, and not quickly, not slowly. Like, she would drive. Like, you would be booking it through these. My grandfather did the same thing. I was like, are we allowed to go this fast on this dirt road? You're fine. Like, it's fine. 60 on a dirt road, not a big deal. Okay. Not highly recommended, may I say. So anyway, she would go up and down these huge hills, and she'd be like, everybody's arms in the air. We'd scream, and she's like, we're going down a roller coaster. And she'd put her hands in the air, and we'd be going really fast, and she'd take her hands off the air, and we all raise our hands and go, ah! It was just a hoot. And so I still do that to this day. There's a certain hill in Hines, Minnesota, that when I go down it, I scream and I go, ah! Because it was just a blast when the auntie did it. So she would take us to this little teeny beach lake called Lake Benjamin up there, and we would spend the whole day at Lake Benjamin with her. We'd catch minnows, and she was like, you can catch a minnow, and she would, or we'd swim. Sometimes we had floaties, sometimes we didn't. It kind of mattered on whether we had brought them or not. She never supplied them. That wasn't something she had money for. But every time she made a sandwich for each kid, and we all got a Shasta. We got a Shasta soda. And I think Shastas were probably like 25 cents a can. And I'd never had one other than at Auntie's. She's the only one I ever had one with. And I remember she would have the cherry cola, and that was the one I wanted. I was like, can I get that one? She only had one or two of each. She wasn't frivolous. She didn't buy like a 12-pack. She'd go and buy 2 of each kind. And so you had to be lucky enough to get a cherry cola. And I drank that, and yesterday or the other day, I don't remember when I drank it with Kevin, and I was right back to that moment, to the moment of her loving us and taking us to the lake, and how many hundreds of times we went to the lake with Auntie. I don't know that I went with my grandparents very often or my mom. I always went with Auntie to Lake Benjamin. And it was just such a blast. I'm sure my grandparents and my mom took me too, but I remember the times with Shasta and the sandwiches. She just was so incredible. She even I remember she took us out in the woods, and she'd be like, okay guys, this is, we're going to look for, and she would just make up adventures of things we were going to do. We also spent a lot of time in our hay barn, jumping from bale to bale. And I didn't know that was not something that maybe was the safest thing to do, especially because the barn didn't necessarily have the foundation for children to be, it was kind of old. It was kind of old. Maybe not the safest thing to be jumping from bale to bale in the big upper part, or we'd go from the upper part and jump back down to the hay bales on the bottom. Just so much fun at her house. We just had the time of our lives. I remember she took us for walks, and she'd stop and show us the flowers and be like, this flower does this and this flower does that. And I mean, it was just always an adventure. It was always something fun. She was the first person to pull over on the side of the road and go, everybody get a tadpole. That are fuzzy inside. I don't know what they're called. I think they're tadpoles. And they're this brown fuzzy thing that grow in water, and she'd take it out and she'd smush them up and blow them all over, and she's like, we're populating the world, and just made things so intriguing and fun. And you know what? She never had any money. She was not a rich lady. She never, I'm sure she had a little bit of money put away, but she never had a job when I was around. And she just kind of lived on what she had, and she didn't stress about it. But she was so generous with her time and so wise with her money. That's just what I remember. I don't know. And she also always made us matching outfits. So my sister and I are 3 years apart. And so she would make an outfit for me, an outfit for her, my sister, and sometimes an outfit for our dolls. And we would match. And so Easter's and Christmas, my mom would give her fabric, and she would sew, and she'd make us these cute little dresses, and we'd all match. because Auntie had made them. And it was just something I just took for granted until now. I'm like, I could not sew to save my life to like make somebody a dress. It would be a debacle. But even finding and buying them is so expensive. And she just took the time and made things special for us. And I loved her so much. She passed away several years ago. But the cherished memories that I have as a child and as a teenager, I never, when I was a teenager, never said, oh, I don't want to go to Auntie's. Like, I don't want to go. I always was like, let's go to Auntie's. Yes, we're going to play some game I've never heard of, and a game that was from centuries before I was born. At least that's what it felt like when you're a kid, right? Like, it feels like, is this like a real game? Because, you know, I'm used to things buzzing and like that are kind of exciting, and you'd go, and she had some game, Husker Du, that was one of them. My grandparents had it too. And it was a matching game. And then you got the tiles when you match things. And then there was one that you flicked a little thing into the buck. I don't know what it was called. And it hurt your fingers so bad. But you'd go to her house and you felt like you were stepping back in time. And it was just one of the most phenomenal memories of my life. And I'm just so glad, first of all, that Dr. Pepper opened that little, and I remembered all of the fantastic things about her. But why I wanted to share it with you, other than it's kind of fun and exciting for me to like remember things about my great aunt, Auntie, is we have made things way too complicated. Like, I know that I strive to keep things very simple and do things that seem like they're really expensive. Like, I really work at making sure that it seems like they're expensive, and I don't. So like when I do Sam's birthday parties when she was little, I made all the banners because it was cheaper. I made all the birthday cakes because it was cheaper. I made all the decorations because it was cheaper. And not because you couldn't probably, but I probably find it cheaper maybe, but I really wanted to put that personal touch and save money, like really save money. And that was, I think, really part of what Auntie did. Auntie always made things simple and really loved us without having for us to have a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like a day at the lake, and she made a sandwich and paid a quarter for a soda, and I will never forget those moments. I don't know how many Shastas I drank then, but I know I've drunk none since I've been an adult. I don't know if you can find them anymore, but those simple investments in my life made me see Jesus in a whole other way, because she loved Jesus. She really did. She loved Jesus. She would read the Bible to us. She would tell us stories that I didn't know were Bible stories. Like, I grew up in Sunday school, and she would tell us things because she was really big into the Jewish heritage and knew all that kind of stuff. She had lived in Israel for several years, and so she would share things, and I would just go, wow, that's so incredible. And she just had the funnest stories, and she just invested. She just took time and invested. She didn't have to invest a lot of money, but she invested her time. She always made time for us. And so I'm asking you, have we made things too complicated to invest in other people? That we're like, I really don't have 100 hours. I don't have $100. I can't invest in someone's life. I can't bless them. If you can, bless people. That is my heart. If I have the money, I will bless people. Like, when God blesses me, I bless others. Like, that is just my heart, and that is something that we do as Christ Connection, and that's something we do as a family. But you don't always have a lot of money. You always don't have a lot of things or time to stretch. But you always have time to write a nice text message. You always have time to give a compliment. You always have time to share a story. You always have time to do something little. And so I encourage you, as you're looking around your life and going, I'm not someone people want to spend time with, right? Like, that's kind of what I think sometimes. I think I'm not really someone that the younger generation is going to want to spend time with. I am not cool. I am not fun. I don't have a lot of money. I don't have any bells or whistles. I am basically just me and my giggle. That is all. Okay, that's hilarious. Sorry, I made myself laugh. It's okay. That's all I have. I have me and my giggle, and sometimes it just doesn't feel like enough. But you know what? Auntie didn't need anything more than her. That's all she needed. She did not need to bribe me to come spend time with her. I just wanted to be with her because she's fun and she invested in me. She made me feel special. And that was all I needed. And as a kid or a young adult, or even as a 50-year-old woman, almost 50-year-old woman, we just want someone that wants to spend time with us because they make us feel special. And so I just encourage you, you don't have to have it all together. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't even have to have any money. You just need to take time and spend it with people, because that is what we crave. We crave for someone to see us. That's what we crave. And so that's my encouragement. Maybe look around, give a compliment to someone at a store, give a smile. It is shocking to me that when you smile at someone, they look at you like, do we know each other? Because no one smiles at one another. And I'm like, nope, don't know you. Just thought you looked nice. Hi. I'm weird. It's okay. It's fine. I have a hard time feeling like I do enough. And when I think about Auntie, I understand that my small investment in people is enough sometimes. And so I just encourage you don't have to spend hundreds of hours with someone. Sometimes a quiet moment or a quiet text or a compliment or just a tap on the shoulder and say, hey, I was thinking about you this week at church. Just hope you're having a great week. It doesn't have to be anything wild. It can just be investing in people in a small way, just like my aunt did, and really made a huge difference in my life. I cannot wait to get to heaven and thank her for the investment that she made in my life. And I have to be honest with you, I hope that someday I will get to heaven and someone will say, hey, you invested in me. And I'll go, I did. I just thought I was being nice. And they said, no, you invested in me. And that is my prayer, is that I can continue to invest in people, even with my limited resources, even though it's just me and a giggle. And I don't have to have it all together, and neither do you. Well, that's all I have for you this week. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. You can support this podcast by going to buymeacoffee.com/reallifewithjenny. You can also book me to come to speak at one of your women's events. I'm booking out now into the fall of 2026 and Christmas. So if you're looking at those, let's get some stuff on the calendar. I do have some things open in the spring too. But that's also getting people in there. So if you want something, let's connect and get that going at christconnection.cc/Jen. You have a great week. I just hope that you take some time this week and invest in family, friends, strangers, someone at church, maybe a pastor, maybe the sky's the limit. But maybe let's do a little bit of investment, because your little bit of investment can make a huge difference in someone's life. You guys have a great week.